Good evening, Valerie here. Checking in, or a check in after my live today about trying to diffuse the irritation that was building up because of competing demands. And it is almost 6 o'clock. How did it go? Well, not too bad. Some things got done and some things did not get done. I decided to elongate my plan for the weekend and we'll have to get to some things tomorrow. By and large, I have to say that it was much better. I actually spent a longer time outside than I thought I would, and probably got a little bit more out of my system, just being able to remedy some of the factors that were building up. So I just want to update you also on the thing about doing family and doing life together with your family. This one's for parents who might be self employed, who are juggling work and juggling family life. And can I say that it is really difficult to have a dichotomous existence when it comes to this sort of stuff, where we get into this mindset that if only we didn't have family, or if only we didn't have this, or if only we didn't have that, we would actually be a lot more productive. I suppose for me, I kind of see that as being a little bit like a fighter jet that breaks the wind for the others to follow, or even that V shape that when ducks form a V shape as they're flying. Um, when you're a parent, you're essentially a leader and you're at the top of that V, leading, but also breaking the air resistance for our kids to actually achieve some sort of liftoff. And that liftoff is not necessarily happiness, it's not necessarily success. It's actually lift off as their role model and as they get a taste of what your life is, what your world is, how you do things, what's important, how you cope. They actually get a foundation then built into them, so that when we are no longer around, because there will be a day when we are no longer around, these are the memories that they will dig into. It talks about character, it talks about formation, it talks about maturity, it talks about expectations. So one of the things that didn't quite work today was that it's actually trying to get the whole family onto your plan. That doesn't always work. uh, and as I got to the part way through the plan, the bit which was we do family as a team, there's no holiday from life. And so, even though we're juggling multiple assessments, multiple commitments this next week, we still serve one another. And the one thing was, getting the bathrooms done and doing a little bit of the housework together. So I go out, I come back, and yeah, there were still some things not done. But if you'll have to watch the previous live I did in the morning, you'll remember that I also said that I left it up to them. So I have teenagers, and as long as it's done, right? Our kids will have different personalities. One of mine is pretty much straight away, I'll get it done. One of my other ones is derives a great sense of freedom if you don't tell them when to do it, but you just have to be prepared that it could be done at 11 p.m. It could be done at 6:37 p.m. They somehow have this ability to squeeze a lot in like 30 seconds, right? But the thing is, okay, ultimately I have to stick to my word. Now, why I'm saying the thing about being a parent, it's intentional parenting, is you can't change children's or people's personality. Like, it's like the one thing that if you do any kind of marriage work or couples work or family work, you can't change people's personality, and it's actually really not fair. As a business owner myself, I appreciate the different personalities that come together. I'm very blessed to have a team that is very, very flexible and very, very adaptable. And it actually really counters my need to make quick decisions and sometimes without enough information. And so, the same way with parenting, when we're bringing up our children, the aim of the game is not to change them so that they behave and think just like we do. but to actually appreciate and respect that their personalities are in beta formation, right? They're still growing, they're still forming. And so we don't want to break that. But what we want to do is to be intentional to work with that, much like that V formation is like to achieve liftoff. And one of the things that was needed for me today was to be flexible, but at the same time to put the boundary and say, these things need to be done. You need to figure out how that's going to be done, right? That means that the quality is there, um, and you are actually being held accountable to that. And that can be difficult because you may want things to look a certain way. I certainly would have preferred if everything was done by dinner time because I like to have the evening sorted and the environment is done. But that doesn't necessarily mean that our family members have the same kind of internal instincts. And so being able to be flexible and adaptable and being intentional to say that what they do right now forms how they will do things later. And there's actually great strengths in personalities that are a bit more laid back, that can actually be very, very focused, kind of at the last chapter. I wouldn't say the last minute, but at the last chapter of when something needs to be done. We just have to be intentional to help them to map it out and to remain accountable and bring and grow character through that. All right, I'll catch you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.